Good morning. I'm Dr. James. I want to share a story with you that unfortunately I see play out far too often in my practice. A 62-year-old man recently came into my office experiencing some mild chest discomfort. He dismissed it, believing it was just a bit of indigestion from his dinner the night before. Tragically, a mere 2 weeks later, he was fighting for his life in the ICU after suffering a massive heart attack. This scenario is not an isolated incident. It's a daily reality in hospitals across our nation. What truly concerns and frustrates me is this: 80% of these devastating heart attacks are entirely preventable. Not with complex medications or expensive procedures, but simply by incorporating 7 specific foods into your diet. Foods that can fundamentally rewire your cardiovascular system from the inside out. I've dedicated the last 15 years to researching cardiac nutrition, and what I've uncovered challenges much of what the pharmaceutical industry has led us to believe about heart health. Today I'm going to reveal those exact 7 foods that have the potential to reduce your heart attack risk by an astounding 76%. I'll also explain precisely how much to eat, when to eat it, and most importantly, why these foods are so effective. But first, it's crucial to understand why your heart might be in danger right now, even if you feel perfectly healthy. Let's pause for a moment to consider a terrifying truth about heart disease, especially after the age of 60. Your arteries are aging much faster than you might realize. Every single day past your 60th birthday, the delicate endothelial cells lining your blood vessels gradually become less flexible, more prone to inflammation, and increasingly vulnerable to the buildup of plaque. This isn't a sudden development. It's a process that has been silently progressing for decades. By the time you experience unmistakable symptoms like chest pain, shortness of breath, or that crushing sensation in your chest, you are already deep within the danger zone. A significant study published in the American Journal of Cardiology followed 4,800 adults, over 60 for 12 years, and revealed an absolutely shocking finding. 67% of them had significant arterial blockages without ever experiencing a single symptom. There were no warning signs, no red flags, just silent, deadly plaque accumulation, patiently waiting to trigger a catastrophic event. Think about your typical day. You wake up, perhaps feeling a little stiff or tired. You have your coffee, eat your usual breakfast, and go about your routine. Everything seems perfectly normal. But inside your chest, your coronary arteries are subtly becoming narrower. The vital blood flow to your heart muscle is slowly being restricted. Your body, incredibly resilient, is compensating, working harder to pump blood through these increasingly clogged pathways. You don't feel this process because it is gradual, insidious, and silent until suddenly it's not. So what exactly is happening at a cellular level? When we consume the wrong foods, particularly processed carbohydrates, inflammatory seed oils, and excessive sugar, our blood glucose levels spike. This initiates a damaging inflammatory cascade that injures the delicate lining of your arteries. In response, your body dispatches cholesterol to patch up these damaged areas, much like applying a bandage to a wound. However, when this process occurs repeatedly, day after day, meal after meal, those patches begin to accumulate. They harden, they calcify, and eventually they can rupture. This rupture then causes a blood clot to form, which can completely block blood flow to your heart. And that, unequivocally, is a heart attack. The conventional medical establishment often wants us to believe that the solution lies in lifelong medication. Statins to lower cholesterol, blood pressure pills to reduce hypertension, aspirin to thin your blood. And yes, these medications certainly have their place and can be life-saving. But what they often don't emphasize enough is this fundamental truth. Food is medicine. And the right foods, chosen wisely, can be far more powerful than prescription drugs, and without the associated side effects. Now, allow me to introduce you to a solution that truly has the power to save your life. The first food I want to discuss is fatty fish. This isn't just good for your heart, it is absolutely essential. We're talking about varieties such as salmon, mackerel, sardines, and herring. These fish are rich sources of omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA, which literally work to rebuild and revitalize your cardiovascular system. Here's how they accomplish this remarkable feat. Omega-3s integrate directly into the cell membranes of your heart muscle and blood vessels, enhancing their flexibility and responsiveness. They also profoundly reduce inflammation throughout your entire circulatory system by blocking the production of inflammatory molecules known as cytokines. Furthermore, they can lower triglycerides by up to 30% and help reduce blood pressure. Hello, I'm Dr. James, and I want to talk about some incredibly powerful foods that can transform your heart health. We're looking for simple, impactful changes, and these three foods are backed by solid research. First, let's talk about fatty fish, rich in omega-3s. These essential fatty acids can lower your blood pressure by an average of 4 to 5 millimeters of mercury and prevent dangerous blood clots from forming. A significant study, published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, followed 2,600 adults over 65 for 14 years. The findings were quite remarkable. Those who ate fatty fish 3 times a week had a 47% lower risk of heart attack compared to those who rarely consumed fish. That's nearly half the risk, simply by adding fish to your diet. But here's the critical detail. You need at least 1,000 milligrams of combined EPA and DHA daily. This translates to roughly 4 ounces of wild-caught salmon 3 times a week. If you prefer smaller fish, a can of sardines 5 times a week will also provide this benefit. It's crucial to choose wild-caught fish because farm-raised varieties can contain inflammatory omega-6 fatty acids and environmental toxins that can actually counteract the benefits we're looking for. The best preparation is simple. Bake it with lemon and herbs, grill it with olive oil, or enjoy sardines straight from the can. I recall one of my patients, a 67-year-old woman with dangerously high triglycerides, started eating salmon 4 times a week. Within just 8 weeks, her triglycerides dropped by 140 points. Her cardiologist was absolutely stunned. No medication changes, just fish. Now let's move to the next food, because it works synergistically with omega-3s to create an even more powerful protective effect. Food number 2 is raw nuts, specifically walnuts and almonds. Many people mistakenly believe nuts are too high in fat and calories, but they are completely wrong about this. The fats in nuts are precisely the kind your heart needs to thrive. Walnuts, for instance, contain alpha-linolenic acid, a plant-based omega-3 that significantly reduces arterial stiffness and improves the function of your endothelium, that critical inner lining of your blood vessels. Almonds are packed with vitamin E, magnesium, and L-arginine, an amino acid your body converts into nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is the master regulator of blood pressure. It signals your blood vessels to relax and dilate, allowing blood to flow freely with less resistance. After the age of 60, our natural nitric oxide production can decline by up to 75%, which is a key reason why blood pressure tends to creep up with age. However, eating almonds can help restore this vital function. A study conducted at Penn State University gave adults over 60 just 1.5 ounces of almonds daily for 6 weeks. The results were compelling. Their LDL cholesterol dropped by 7%. Their arterial inflammation markers decreased by 13%, and their blood vessel function improved by a remarkable 19%. All this from a small handful of nuts each day. So here's my recommendation. Eat 1 ounce of raw, unsalted walnuts and 1 ounce of raw almonds every single day. That's approximately 14 walnut halves and 23 almonds. You can enjoy them as a mid-morning snack or sprinkle them on your salad. A vital point, never eat roasted nuts that have been cooked in seed oils, as those inflammatory oils completely negate the benefits. Always store your nuts in the refrigerator to prevent the delicate fats from oxidizing. One piece of research that truly shocked me was discovering that people who eat nuts 5 or more times a week have a 29% lower risk of dying from heart disease. That's not just preventing heart attacks, that's significantly extending your lifespan. Finally, this next food might be the most powerful of all, and it's likely already in your kitchen. Food number 3 is extra virgin olive oil. But I'm not talking about the cheap stuff you find in clear plastic bottles at the grocery store. Real extra virgin olive oil is dark green, stored in a dark glass bottle, and has a distinct peppery bite when you taste it. That peppery sensation comes from a compound called oleocanthal, which has the same anti-inflammatory effect as ibuprofen. Researchers at the University of Pennsylvania discovered that 50 milliliters of high-quality olive oil, which is about 3.5 tablespoons, provides the same anti-inflammatory benefit as 10% of the adult ibuprofen dose. But unlike ibuprofen, olive oil has 0 side effects and provides this incredible benefit every single day. Olive oil is rich in monounsaturated fats that don't oxidize easily in your body. When you make the simple swap of replacing butter, margarine, or common vegetable oils with extra virgin olive oil, you're making a profound difference for your heart. Good health, especially for your heart, often comes down to making informed dietary choices. One profound change we can make is replacing inflammatory fats with those that actively combat inflammation. This simple shift, incorporating anti-inflammatory fats into your diet, can alone reduce your heart attack risk by up to 30%. Olive oil is a prime example of such a beneficial fat. Beyond its role in healthy cooking, it contains over 36 different phenolic compounds. These are powerful antioxidants that perform a crucial function. They prevent LDL cholesterol from oxidizing. This oxidation is the critical step that transforms what is otherwise harmless cholesterol into a dangerous substance. Non-oxidized cholesterol, on the other hand, doesn't adhere to your artery walls. It circulates safely and is processed by your liver. The impact of olive oil isn't just theoretical. The renowned pre-dimed study, conducted in Spain, followed over 7,400 participants who were at high risk for heart disease. One group received extra virgin olive oil, about 4 tablespoons daily, and was monitored for nearly 5 years. The results were compelling. The olive oil group experienced a 30% reduction in heart attacks, strokes, and cardiovascular deaths compared to the control group. This study was so significant that it led to changes in international guidelines for heart disease prevention. To best utilize olive oil's benefits, I recommend taking 1 tablespoon on an empty stomach first thing in the morning. Use 2 to 3 tablespoons throughout the day for cooking or in salad dressings. It's vital not to heat it above a medium temperature to preserve its beneficial compounds. When selecting olive oil, look for bottles that display the harvest date and are stored in dark glass. Unfortunately, much of the olive oil found in supermarkets can be rancid even before you open it. So investing in a quality product is essential. Moving on, there's another incredible food you can enjoy in virtually unlimited amounts, and it tastes fantastic. Berries, especially blueberries, strawberries, and blackberries. These small but mighty nutritional powerhouses are packed with compounds called anthocyanins. These are the pigments responsible for their deep red and purple colors, and they do something quite remarkable in your cardiovascular system. Anthocyanins activate an enzyme called ENOS, or endothelial nitric oxide synthase. As I've mentioned before, this enzyme produces nitric oxide, which works to relax your blood vessels, improving blood flow. But their benefits extend further. Anthocyanins also reduce oxidative stress in your arteries by neutralizing free radicals, those unstable molecules that damage cells and accelerate aging. A groundbreaking study from Harvard, which followed 93,000 women for 18 years, found that those who consumed 3 or more servings of blueberries and strawberries per week had a 32% lower risk of heart attack compared to women who ate berries once a month or less. Think about that for a moment. A third lower risk simply by regularly incorporating berries into your diet. The mechanism behind this is quite fascinating. Anthocyanins enhance the flexibility of your arterial walls, making them more elastic and responsive to changes in blood flow. Stiff arteries are a major risk factor for heart attacks because they struggle to adapt to sudden pressure changes. Flexible arteries, on the other hand, are resilient arteries. Aim for at least 1 cup of fresh or frozen berries daily. Frozen berries are just as nutritious as fresh because they are flash frozen at their peak ripeness, preserving all their vital nutrients. You can easily add them to your morning routine by blending them into a smoothie with unsweetened almond milk and a handful of spinach, or by topping your oatmeal with half a cup of mixed berries. They also make a perfect afternoon snack. The natural sugars in berries are accompanied by fiber, which slows absorption and prevents blood sugar spikes. Unlike processed sweets that can harm your heart, berries actually help heal it while satisfying your sweet tooth. Now here's something many people tend to overlook, yet it's absolutely crucial for heart protection, particularly after the age of 60. Whole grains. Specifically, I'm referring to oats, quinoa, and brown rice. I understand the low-carb perspective, but the research is crystal clear. Refined grains are the problem, not whole grains. Whole grains retain the entire grain kernel, the bran, germ, and endosperm, meaning they are rich in fiber, B vitamins, magnesium, and essential antioxidants. The fiber found in whole grains, particularly beta-glucan in oats, effectively lowers LDL cholesterol. It does this by binding to bile acids in your intestines, which in turn forces your liver to pull more cholesterol from your bloodstream to produce additional bile. A comprehensive meta-analysis published in the British Medical Journal. Hello, I'm Dr. James, Today I want to share some vital information about foods that can significantly protect your heart health. We'll look at some powerful dietary choices, backed by science, that are easy to incorporate into your daily life. Let's begin with whole grains. A comprehensive review of 45 studies involving over 800,000 participants revealed a compelling finding. Individuals who consumed 3 servings of whole grains daily experienced a 22% lower risk of heart disease compared to those who rarely included them in their diet. Achieving this is quite simple. 3 servings could be as little as 1.5 cups of cooked oatmeal, 1 cup of cooked quinoa, or 2 slices of 100% whole grain bread. It's surprisingly easy to incorporate into your daily routine, but the timing is crucial. I recommend consuming your whole grains earlier in the day, ideally at breakfast or lunch. This is when your body's insulin sensitivity is at its peak, allowing for the most efficient processing of carbohydrates. For instance, you could begin your day with steel-cut oats, perhaps topped with walnuts, berries, and a touch of honey. Or, for lunch, a quinoa salad with fresh vegetables and an olive oil dressing is an excellent choice. It's generally advisable to avoid whole grain products after 4 p.m., as consuming carbohydrates late in the day can potentially hinder your overnight metabolic recovery. I recall a patient, a 64-year-old gentleman, who struggled with persistently high cholesterol levels despite being on statin therapy. He decided to incorporate daily oatmeal into his routine. Just 3 months later, we saw a remarkable improvement. His LDL cholesterol dropped an additional 23 points. This positive change even allowed his cardiologist to reduce his medication dosage. It truly underscores the principle that food can be powerful medicine. Moving on, the next food I want to discuss is, in my professional opinion, one of the most underrated protectors for your heart, and unfortunately, many people simply aren't consuming enough of it. I'm referring to dark leafy greens, specifically spinach, kale, Swiss chard, and arugula. These vegetables are incredibly rich in natural nitrates, not the synthetic nitrates found in processed meats, but beneficial compounds your body converts into nitric oxide. We've discussed nitric oxide before because of its critical role in maintaining cardiovascular health. Beyond nitrates, leafy greens are also a fantastic source of vitamin K. This vitamin is essential for regulating calcium metabolism, which helps prevent calcium from accumulating in your arteries, where it certainly doesn't belong. Arterial calcification is a particularly concerning type of plaque because it's rigid and more susceptible to rupture, posing a significant risk. A remarkable study from Edith Cowan University in Australia tracked over 50,000 individuals for 23 years. They found that participants who consumed just 1 cup of nitrate-rich vegetables daily experienced a 26% lower risk of heart disease and notably lower blood pressure. The researchers even concluded that these vegetables were more effective at lowering blood pressure than most medications, and critically, without any of the associated side effects. The key, however, is consistency. The beneficial nitric oxide boost from these greens lasts only about 24 hours, meaning daily intake is crucial. Aim for at least 2 cups of raw leafy greens or 1 cup of cooked greens every single day. Consider making a substantial salad for lunch, using spinach, arugula, walnuts, berries, and an olive oil dressing. In one meal, you've combined several powerful heart-protective foods. You could also saute Swiss chard with garlic and olive oil as a nutritious dinner side, or even blend spinach into your morning smoothie. You won't taste it, but you'll reap all the benefits. Remember, the darker the green, the more concentrated the nutrients, so opt for deep green varieties over lighter lettuces. Finally, this last food ties together many of the principles we've discussed and is arguably one of the easiest to incorporate into your diet. I'm talking about legumes, black beans, lentils, chickpeas, and kidney beans. I consider legumes to be among the most underrated foods for promoting longevity. They are uniquely rich in a powerful combination of soluble fiber, complete plant-based protein, resistant starch, and beneficial polyphenols. This nutritional profile creates a profoundly positive impact on your cardiovascular system. The soluble fiber actively helps lower cholesterol levels. The resistant starch acts as a prebiotic, feeding the beneficial bacteria in your gut that, in turn, produce anti-inflammatory compounds. The plant protein provides all the essential amino acids your body needs, but without the saturated fat often found in animal proteins. And the polyphenols work to reduce oxidative stress throughout your entire body. The data supporting legumes is quite compelling. A study published in the Archives of Internal Medicine tracked over 9,600 adults for 19 years. It revealed that individuals who consumed legumes 4 or more times per week had a 22% lower risk of developing heart disease and a truly remarkable 38% lower risk of dying from a heart attack, especially when compared to those who ate legumes less than once a week. These are truly staggering statistics. The researchers even concluded that if broader adoption of legume consumption occurred. Good morning. I'm Dr. James, and today I want to share some incredibly powerful, yet often overlooked, strategies that can profoundly impact your heart health. We're talking about preventing hundreds of thousands of heart attacks every single year. And it starts with something as simple as half a cup of legumes daily. Despite this immense potential, most Americans consume legumes less than twice a week. That's a missed opportunity. My target for you is clear. Aim for at least half a cup of cooked legumes every day. This could be 1 cup of lentil soup, half a cup of black beans added to your salad, or 3/4 of a cup of hummus served with vegetables. Legumes are remarkably versatile and inexpensive. You can easily make a large pot of lentil soup on Sunday and enjoy it throughout the week. Add chickpeas to your salads, or mash black beans to use as a spread for whole grain toast. And remember, canned legumes are just as nutritious as dried ones. Just be sure to rinse them thoroughly to remove excess sodium. I've seen firsthand the impact of this simple change. One elderly patient of mine replaced her daily sandwich with a bean-based lunch. Within just 12 weeks, her total cholesterol dropped an astonishing 47 points, and her blood pressure normalized. Her doctor was absolutely amazed. Now, here's a crucial point that most people miss, and it truly can make or break your results. Timing and combination matter just as much as the foods themselves. You can't just eat these beneficial foods randomly and expect maximum protection. You need to be strategic. My recommendation is to start every single morning with oatmeal, topped with berries, walnuts, and a teaspoon of olive oil mixed in. This single meal provides you with 4 of the 7 key foods and primes your metabolism for stable blood sugar levels all day long. For lunch, create a massive salad featuring dark, leafy greens, chickpeas, almonds, and an olive oil-based dressing. That's 4 more foods working together synergistically. Then for dinner, focus on fatty fish with a side of sautéed Swiss chard in olive oil, accompanied by a small portion of quinoa. By following this structure, you've incorporated all 7 critical foods in strategic combinations that enhance their absorption and maximize their cardiovascular benefits. Let me explain why these combinations are so effective. The omega-3s found in fish work much better when consumed alongside the polyphenols in olive oil. The iron in leafy greens is better absorbed when eaten with vitamin C, which you get from berries. And the fiber in legumes significantly enhances the cholesterol-lowering effects of whole grains. This isn't just about eating these foods. It's about eating them together in ways that compound their protective effects, creating a powerful synergy within your body. One more critical point: consistency beats intensity every single time. Eating these 7 foods once or twice a week simply won't save your heart. You need to make them your daily dietary foundation for the rest of your life. That might sound overwhelming at first, but once you establish the habit, it truly becomes automatic. After about 30 days, you won't even have to think about it. Your body will start to crave these foods because it recognizes how good they make you feel. Your energy will increase. Any brain fog you're experiencing will clear. Your sleep will improve. And most importantly, your heart will be protected by the most powerful medicine nature has to offer. Let me summarize what we've covered, because this information has the potential to save your life. Fatty fish, 3 times per week for omega-3s, which reduce inflammation and prevent blood clots. Raw walnuts and almonds, daily for healthy fats and nitric oxide production. Extra virgin olive oil, every day for anti-inflammatory compounds and arterial protection. Berries, daily for anthocyanins that improve blood vessel flexibility. Whole grains, at breakfast for cholesterol-lowering fiber. Dark, leafy greens, with every lunch for natural nitrates and vitamin K. Legumes, daily for soluble fiber and plant-based protein. These 7 foods, when eaten consistently and strategically, can reduce your heart attack risk by up to an astonishing 76%. This isn't just about preventing disease. It's about building a foundation for vibrant health, reversing conditions like type 2 diabetes, eliminating joint pain, boosting your brain power, and ultimately adding healthy, fulfilling years to your life. Hello, I'm Dr. James. It's natural to have questions and concerns about our health, and sometimes even about the very medications intended to help us. While prescriptions can be vital, it's crucial for everyone to be fully informed about their potential implications and to have an open dialogue with their healthcare provider regarding any concerns or side effects. Understanding your cardiovascular health is perhaps one of the most important aspects of personal well-being. There's a growing body of knowledge that can genuinely empower you to make choices that protect your heart starting today. What we've learned is that diet plays an incredibly significant role. We now have clear, evidence-based insights into specific foods, appropriate portion sizes, and strategic combinations that are profoundly beneficial for maintaining and improving heart health. My sincere advice is not to wait for a significant health event like chest pain or an emergency room visit to begin prioritizing your heart. Proactive steps taken consistently are truly transformative. Your heart health is largely within your control. By making conscious, healthy choices, especially concerning your nutrition, you'll not only add years to your life, but more importantly, you'll add vitality and quality to those years.